Hey, and welcome back to our next lesson in our course on creating a WordPress website from scratch, where I walk you step by step through the entire process and show you how to go from nothing to a completed WordPress website with hundreds of blog posts and affiliate links on it. Very easy to do if you follow along. If you have not been following along, stop right now. Description down below, there's links to the rest of the lessons. Go to the first lesson, start watching that. This course is completely free. I'm not charging for the course. Go to the first lesson, follow along. Very first lesson, we learned how to pick a niche. The niche I chose was home decor. I showed you how to choose your own niche. And then we did some keyword research, chose some keywords, clustered them, turned those keywords into blog post titles, showed you how to do that. After that, we chose a domain, taught you how to choose a domain. Then we chose a host. We're hosting with Cloudways. We hooked our domain up to Cloudflare, which is our CDN, our content delivery network, and also acts as a firewall. Then we hooked Cloudflare up to Cloudways, and then we installed WordPress. Sounds very complicated, but it's not. I walked you through the entire process step by step. In this video, we're going to start customizing WordPress. We're going to install a theme, some other basic plugins to get the ball rolling, optimize our site for speed, optimize it for performance, and make it looking professional. I want you to have a professional WordPress website when we're done. We're going to do all of that in this video. So right now, I want you to go to Cloudways, that's our host, and find your server that we added. We did all this in the last video. Find the server, then find the application, which is our WordPress install that we linked our domain up to. And then over here on Access Details, you'll see this thing called Admin Panel. This is the login URL for your site. Just click this button to take you to the site. Now you might have to log in. Here's your username and here's your password, and you can log in. First thing I want you to do, if we don't do this now, we'll forget about it. So I want to do this now. Hover over settings, click on permlinks, make sure your permlinks are, this is the option that's selected. You don't want any of these other options selected. We want our blog post URLs to look like this. We don't want them to look like this. We don't want them to have the year, month, and date in them. This is the most SEO friendly way for a blog post on WordPress to look. If it was not this, then click it and then come down here and click Save Changes. Last thing I want you to do is click on Discussion over here. I don't use comments on my blog posts. It just fills up with spam and slows down the site. So I'm going to disable these. These were checked before. I don't want them checked. I want them unchecked, these three. And then I also check this one. I want comments must be manually approved. So basically no one's going to submit a comment. And then I'll come down here and click Save Changes. So you do that too. Now we'll go over here to plugins and we'll look at the plugins that we have. Now, if you're using Cloudways, and depending on when you're watching this video, you should have at least 3 of these plugins installed. Bot protection, and then 2 caching plugins will help our site go faster and also use less memory. You might also have this thing called Hello Dolly, and that's a plugin that we can just delete. Don't need that. And there's like an Ask Meet plugin that might appear up here that you can also delete. That's for preventing spam if you do use comments on your blog posts, but I believe it's a paid plugin. We're not even doing that anyway. So this is what you're left with. If you're not using Cloudways, you could end up with different plugins, and you most likely will. So I can't really give you any recommendations on that. I just recommend using Cloudways. Link in the description below, my affiliate link if you want to sign up for Cloudways. Now what we got to do right now is install a theme. A theme is the thing that makes your site look pretty or professional. It's like the skin. So if we're going trick-or-treating, we dress up like a ghost or a pirate or a ninja. Right, we're still us on the inside, but on the outside we look different. Maybe you're a Fortnite player, so let me use a Fortnite example. It's like a skin that you put on your character. Your character is exactly the same, but you have a different skin, a different appearance on the outside. That's exactly what a theme is. Now, if we hover over this and right-click on Visit Site, we can see what our site looks like on the front end. This is the default theme that's installed. We'll go back to our back end and hover over Appearance and click on Themes. You'll see some default themes. This is the one that's activated right now. It's 2024. WordPress has this thing about creating a new theme each year. So in a couple months, we'll see a 2025 theme. These are they're very fast themes because they're very stock. They're very basic. There's not a lot of bells and whistles here. Very stock and basic. But a theme will help control the font size, the font style, like what type of font it is, the spacing between paragraphs, between different words in those paragraphs, like the line height, the color of buttons when you hover over them and you don't hover over them, whether your images will have rounded corners or not, and other things like that. So there's lots of themes to choose from, and there's also page builders to choose from. We're not going to be talking about page builders here. There's a time and a place for page builders, but the types of sites that we're creating, we're just trying to bang out a lot of different sites. We don't really need a page builder. Page builder was actually, it was more important back in the day when we didn't have block plugins, and I'm probably using a lot of terminology that a lot of you might not be following along with, but for those that are following along, now we have a Gutenberg editor to edit our posts, and that uses a block format. So there's block plugins to allow us to create a more bespoke looking landing page, a homepage, than previously. So the usefulness of page builders has gone down now that we have block plugins. Again, time and a place for a page builder, but for what we're doing, we're not going to use one. We don't need one because usually those come with a lot of bloat or complexity. So we're going to be using a very optimized theme built for speed that's low, zero bloat almost, very fast. I love the team because they're committed to speed and performance and not clogging up their theme and slowing it down. So we're going to use a theme and also a block plugin. We'll start configuring the theme right now. It's called Blocksy. Just go to Google, type in Blocksy, and you can find the theme. You can scroll down and see it has a lot of default homepages in here that you can set up if you want to. It has live preview, fully responsive. And this is a term we haven't talked about yet. Responsiveness. You'll probably hear this thrown around a lot. What this means is your site is going to look good, quote unquote, on different resolutions. Most people are not viewing your website on a desktop computer. They're going to be viewing it, depending what it is. But if it's an affiliate site or something like that, an info site, they're going to be viewing it on mobile. They're going to be on their phones, in bed, scrolling around, or maybe they'll be out at the store or on the bus or something, scrolling and looking at your site on their phones. Sometimes, if your site is not responsive, it could look great on desktop, but look like crap on mobile. So responsiveness means it's going to look good at all resolutions. If you kind of want to test out what any site looks like at different resolutions, you can go into Chrome or a browser like Edge or Brave and press F12 on your keyboard. And it will bring up this split window here with complicated looking stuff over here. But what we're interested in is this little icon over here. We click it, and then there's a drop down, and we can view what this site or any site, you can go to any URL you want to, looks like at different resolutions. So at a small resolution for an iPhone SE, this is what it would look like. The resolution of an iPhone SE is 375 pixels horizontally. An iPhone 14 Pro Max is 430 pixels horizontally. So you can check out how your site looks at different resolutions. You can say, oh, you know what? The content from my blog post is too small at, an iPhone SE resolution. I need to increase it. Or, oh, my menus look like junk, for whatever reason, like the text is too big or the line spacing is all wrong at this resolution. I need to fix it. So that's called responsiveness. It allows you to, viewing it in Chrome allows you to view it at different resolution levels, but Blocksy is built for responsiveness. It's built to allow you to customize it so it performs great at all resolutions. It's also built for performance. Now they do have a free, we're going to be using the free version of this in this demonstration. For my sites that I build privately, I use the paid version, but the free version still has a lot of bells and whistles in it. So they have an annual plan. You can get 1 site, 10 sites, unlimited sites, pay annually, or you can buy the lifetime. You pay once, you never pay again. I just have a lifetime that I bought, and I just put it on all the sites that I want to, and I never have to pay any more money. So if you do want to upgrade, there's a link in the description below. It's my affiliate link. Please use it because this course is free, but we're not going to be using the paid version of this. We're going to use the free version for this course. The free version has a lot. It's translation ready. It has schema markup, Google Analytics support, breadcrumbs, custom post types. Dark mode is not available though on the free version. Hooks aren't available, custom code snippets. So there's a lot of stuff that's not available, but there's enough that is that we can really accomplish a lot with this. That's what we're going to use. What I want you to do is go back to the back end of your site. This is the back end, and this would be the front end where visitors visit. And we're going to hover over Appearance and click on Themes. And we want to click on Add New Theme. We'll go over here and we'll type in Blocksy, Blocksy, and click Install. And click Activate. Now this theme requires a plugin. Plugin's also free, but we need this Blocksy companion. So just click this button. It will install and activate it. So going back to our themes, we have Blocksy installed, and we have the Blocksy companion installed. Now, if we go back to our homepage and we refresh it, look what happened. It's all different now. Where'd everything go? So this right here, all right, is now our homepage. Our homepage can either display our most recent posts or a static page that we create. We'll create a static page in a little bit, but this is what we are working with right now, but we'll make it look really good in just a second. A couple more plugins we need. I want you to click Add New Plugin and search for Maintenance. And we want the one by Web Factory. Install it, activate it, and you'll see it over here. Now, if you first load it up over here, you'll see like a pop-up that appears that says, hey, pay a bunch of money. You don't need to pay any money. They're completely free. You don't need to pay any money for this. What this will do is if we go to our site and we're logged in, because on the front end of our site, we see this bar up here that no one else but us sees because we're logged in, right? Everything looks fine. If we refresh it, look, everything looks fine. But if we take our URL and go to a private window where we don't have our cookies loaded, then we see this, maintenance mode is on. So this is what everybody in the world that's not logged into your site is going to see. And the only person that can log in is you. So now it's in maintenance mode. So we don't have Google. Google's not going to be visiting your site and crawling it before we're done. That's maintenance mode. Now I want to go over here to pages. Now there's posts and there's pages. This is not necessarily like a WordPress primer, but I will give you some basics about WordPress. You have posts, you have pages. They're basically identical, except for posts can be associated with something called tags and also put in categories. But from a functional standpoint, posts and pages are basically identical. When should you create a post and when should you create a page? A page is for something that's not really intended to change. Posts, though, can change. All right, so a page might be your contact us page, your terms of service, your privacy policy page, any pages that are going to be static, your home page. But you might want to create posts for blog posts, things like that. By default, you should have a privacy policy page here. We want to create a couple more pages. Add new page. And we want to type in terms of use. It's always important to have a terms of use page. And if we view this page, you'll see this thing that says terms of use. There's no content here. We just have a title. Perfectly fine right now. Hover over this thing right here. We'll click dashboard. We'll go back to our pages and we'll click add new. We want another page, contact, and click publish. Now we have a contact page. See, there's our contact page. Let's go back, pages, all pages. We need one more page. We're going to add new page. Typography, Typography. Can't spell and type at the same time. Typography. Then I want you to go to my site, rankingtactics.com/typography. And we're going to take this content, not this stuff up here. Don't take this stuff. Just take this content right here and scroll down and select it all. Actually, I didn't do that. Right again. Take all that content. There we go. Selected it all. I'm going to press Control-C for copy and go over here to my typography page and click right underneath the title right there. And we'll just press Control-V to paste it in here. Now, a typography page is going to have different formatting elements on it. So we have some H2 subheading. We have some H3 subheadings. We have some stuff in bold. We have some stuff in italic. We have a numeric list. We have a block quote. We have a link. All of these things are different styling elements on a page. And as we customize our theme, it'd be nice to have a page with all these different styling elements so we can view our changes in real time without having to jump around. So we have this typography page. Now, before we publish it and save it, we want to create a new line. So come right down here, press enter, and we want to create a button. I would normally have the button on my typography page to give to you, but the problem is when you copy it, the button won't copy. So we're going to build ourselves a button, very easy to do. So go back to your typography page and we'll create a new line down here, press / and type in button, B-U-T-T-O-N. You'll see buttons, just hit enter. All right, so there's a button right there. And we'll type in get, you can type in whatever you want, but we'll do get ZimmWriter. That's my AI writer. So we'll type that and then we've got to create a link. So we'll go over here to my typography page at Ranking Tactics, and we'll click Get ZimmWriter. We'll take this link here, copy it, go back to our page, and click on the button. Just click anywhere. You'll see this little link thing. We'll click the link, Control V, and enter. Now we've made a link. We can save it, publish it, and then view the published page. And now we have a button. So we have all the styling we basically need on here. We have our H2s, we have our H3s, we have links, we have buttons, we have block quotes, we have bullet lists, all that stuff. So now we can customize this and dial it in for the site that we're building. So let's start customizing our theme. So we're on this typography page. I want you to, and we're on the front end, we're not on the back end where we're editing it. I want you to go over here and hover over this customize button, customize, and then click it. This is the customization menu. We're gonna spend a lot of time in here. I guess let me exit out of this just to show you how to get back in and back out. It's very easy. Click X to exit out, and anywhere on our front end of our site, as long as we're logged in, we can click customize on any page we want or any category we want. We can customize it. We'll click on typography. And so we're able to set now basically the global font, the font everywhere, the font for buttons, the font for paragraphs, the font in block quotes, the font everywhere. And then we can set our heading fonts. Now the fonts you choose, that's a total personal preference. My site is going to be a home decor site. I don't know if this is the type of font that I would really go with for home decor. I would say that the majority of people looking at home decor, especially on Pinterest, are going to be women, right? So I want a more feminine, more graceful type of font. But if you had like a tech blog, for instance, you might want a font that kind of looks like this. Now, the fonts that we're going to choose should be a font that will apply to all of the different headings, and then a font that will apply to the body text or the rest of the text. So we'll have a font that applies to the buttons, to the block quotes, to the text inside of here. All of that's going to be the same. And we want a different font, usually, not all the time, but 90% of the time we want a different font for our headings. Now the fonts that we're going to choose from are going to be Google fonts. Google has a repository of free fonts, and they're all loadable inside of Blocksy. So it's very easy. You can find them all by just searching for fonts.google.com, and you can browse all of their fonts. Now the problem is, though, finding a font for your headings that pairs well with your subheadings. I know it looks good, but I don't know how to get to the point that it looks good. My wife is a great designer. She could just see it in her mind. She knows. I can't do that. I can see it once it's done and be like, oh yeah, that looks good. And I have a pretty good eye for that. But I can't pre-see it. I don't have that precog like they had in Minority Report. So we can find all the fonts in here. And, oh, I like this font and I like this font, but do they pair together? And which one works good as a heading and which one works good as a body font? Because you're going to be reading a lot of the body text, whereas you're going to glance over the headings, and the headings have a lot less words in them. So to find a good pairing for Google Fonts, you can go to fontpair.co. And these are all, if you click on pairings, Google font pairings. So all of these should be Google fonts, which are free, by the way. You don't have to worry about licensing and things like that. Otherwise, licensing a font is just ridiculously expensive. But you can think about the niche that you've chosen, and then what would be a good pairing for your site. Would this be maybe this would be good for a design blog, for a home decor blog. That might be pretty good. I kind of like this. This is really fancy over here. Playfair display in Lato. That looks really nice. Let's actually go with that. Now, again, you might be doing like a tech niche, or you might have a niche in I don't know, in survival and stuff like that. This would not be a good font choice for like a survival niche. You want something a little bit more hardcore. So play around with this site and find a pairing that works for you. So this would be our heading font, Playfair display. So let's go over here. We'll click on H1, click on default family, and type in Playfair. Couple different choices. I think, let's go back here again, Playfair display. That's what we want. So Playfair display. Looks like you've picked a Google font. By using external fonts, your website might not comply with privacy. I think this is more for the GDPR, for those unlucky people in Europe. I understand. That's perfectly fine by me. So we have this cool font now. So I'm gonna copy this, Playfair display. Oops, Playfair display. I'm gonna copy it. I don't know what, there's a variable too. I don't know what the difference is. Oh, variable, that means, so this, we don't want this. This is just uppercase, but we want mixed case right here. So we'll do variable. So I've copied Playfair display, and now I'm gonna go over here and search for it again and select it. Go over here, search for, so I'm selecting it for each of my headings. Now, I never do H4s. I don't do H5s, never do H6s. So I'm not too worried about what these will look like and stuff like that, but we've selected it for everything. Now we got to select our body font. So let's go back here, and this was paired with Lato, if I'm saying that correctly. So we'll go over here and type in Lato, L-A-T-O. Let's see, Lato, there it is. Now you might put this on your blog and read this page and think this, I still don't feel the vibe. It doesn't look like what I want. And that's perfectly fine. Go back to the font pairing and play around with stuff. This is not there's no hard and fast rule or law that you have to follow in choosing the fonts for your site. The next thing we need to do is check the font size. The font size is very important. I like this font size on desktop. This actually looks quite nice. Let's see here. You can tell that this is an H2 and that this is smaller or larger than this. Like the sizing. This is an H1. Let's see. But I think this is, we'll talk about this in a minute. I think this is a style that's, the font size is being overridden right now, but we'll talk about that in a minute. I like this. Now let's see what it looks like on a tablet. So we'll go over here and click on this right here, and it will make this smaller so we can see what it looks like on a tablet. If you look at the font sizes, so 40, 35, 30, 25, 40, 35, 30, 25, they haven't really changed. They haven't changed at all, actually. But the screen's reduced in size. We can say, does this still look good? Yeah, I think this still looks good. Now let's click on mobile, see what we have. Does this look good on mobile? Or is it too big? Or is it too small? Let's see, it's actually the same size everywhere. I actually like it. It doesn't look bad, I don't think. If we wanted to change the size, if we said, you know what, I really don't like the gap between the H2s, the line height between the H2s. So let's go over here to this line, this H2. We'll click on this more, and we can see this line height, and we can dial this down to 1.2. Now on mobile, it's going to be on 1.2. But if we click on tablet, it goes back to 1.5. So this is the responsiveness I was talking about. With Blocksy makes this so easy and so beautiful. It's just so, it's like almost like an Apple design. It's just intuitive. So you can come over here and say, I want a specific line height on mobile, but a different one on the tablet or something like that. So you can totally come in here and customize this stuff. Let's see. So that's our H2. Let's see what the H3s look like. Yeah, the H3s, let me dial that down also. So we'll click on this H3 over here, and we'll do our line height on mobile. We're on mobile right now at 1.2. I like that. So I'm happy. Yeah, usually I am having to configure this a lot more, but I'm happy with these results for the time being. I might end up changing this later. Now look, none of this is saved right now. We need to save this. So we'll click publish, and then we can actually go back to our homepage over here. View the results. So let's, oh yeah, we only have one post. So we got to go to our typography page. Typography. Yeah, that's cool. All right, so far I like this. Now let's go back to desktop. We've customized now a single blog post or a single page, but I'd like to customize the layout for our category pages. I'd like to customize a lot more, but we only have one post. How do we get more posts on our site? Now we could just write those by hand or use an AI writer and connect it to WordPress, but there's a much easier way to just fill our site with some temporary dummy content, so to speak, so that we can much easier to customize this stuff. So let's exit out of this customizer, and let's go to the back end really quick and click on plugins and click add new plugin and search for the word dummy. And there we go. WP Dummy Content Generator. We'll install this. Now, I don't know, maybe you're watching this video 2 years from now. And if you are, maybe this plugin is no longer supported. Not a big deal. Maybe there's another dummy thing out there. What you could do if this plugin's no longer available, we'll activate this, is you could create one post just with some dummy content and an image. And then there's some duplicate post plugins that will allow you to duplicate a post. So you duplicate the post 20 times, and then you'll have some nice dummy content to work with. But let's go to our dummy content generator. We'll click generate posts, and I want to make 50 posts. And we want some images because we need the images in order to help customize our layout. So we'll just wait a minute. I do 50. 50 is a good number. It will fill out some categories. It's going to make some categories too for us. And then when we're all done, if we want to remove this dummy content, we simply come back here and we'll click View Fake Posts, and it will show us everything that's fake, and we just can easily delete it. So View Fake Posts, and we just delete the dummy post. Very easy to do. So we go back to our homepage now, and we click refresh, and we have all of our dummy posts on here. None of this, all this text, none of it makes any sense, but we're just using this for looking at the layout right now. This would be a category, so we can click on this, see our categories laid out. I'm liking the layout right now. I really do. So what we're going to do now is we're going to create our menu for up here, and then also for our menu for our footer, because without those menus, it's hard to customize this stuff. We'll go over here to our back end and click over here on Appearance and click on Menus. So we'll come over here and type Main Menu. And we'll assign this to Header Menu 1 and press Create Menu. We'll go down here to Categories, and we'll click View All and add some categories. Let's not add uncategories, but we'll add some categories. And then you got to click this Add to Menu. So these categories are just the placeholder dummy content categories that we created. We'll come back when we're all done configuring everything and erase this stuff and add our real categories in. But we're just creating some placeholders right now to nail down our design. So we clicked Add to Menu, it added them on here. And this is a really cool little builder. You can drag stuff around if you want to. You can make subcategories if you want to. But this is fine. And we'll click Save Menu. Don't forget to press that Save. Now we'll create one more menu. We'll call this Footer Menu. And click Footer and press Create Menu. And we'll go over here on the pages to View All. And we'll do Contact, Privacy, Terms of Use. If privacy is not showing up for you, then maybe you need to go into it. It should be a page. You'll need to go into it and publish it. It might just be in there as a draft. Make sure that's published, and you'll see it in here. And then we'll add it to the menu. Now let's drag this so it contacts us first, and then privacy is last, and terms is in the middle. And we'll press Save Menu. Cool. Let's go back to our front end now. And we will press Customize. So this is what it looks like on a desktop, and you press tablet. That's what it looks like on a tablet, and you press mobile, and this is what it looks like on mobile. So what I want to do is I want to scroll down, and we're going to modify our footer right now. This is our footer. We'll click on Edit, and I want to add the menu probably right here that we just created for our footer. So we'll click on a middle row, and I'll go back one, and I will find our menu. I'll drag this right over here, and I'll click it one time. And then you can select the menu, and we want Footer Menu. Now, if we scroll down in this window, we should be able to see our footer right here. Now, it's scrunched up. It's wrapping to the new line because these two are taking too much space. So let's see if we can fix that. So what we can do is we can move over here and click on Middle Row, and change the column layout so our middle column is bigger. Look how easy that was. Now, if it's still too long, maybe you have 4 menu items or 5 menu items, what can you do? You can click back on the menu, and you can say, you know what, I want a vertical layout for this. You could do that, or we could come over here and click on that middle row. We hover and we click on the middle row. We dial this down to 1 column. Now our menu's disappeared right now, but we'll click on the menu. Let's toggle it to our footer menu. And it comes back. Then we can come down here and set the horizontal alignment to the center. See how easy that was? Now, the other thing I want to do is I want to reduce this padding. What we'll do is we'll go back to our middle row settings, not the menu settings here, but the middle row settings. And you'll see this row vertical spacing. So we'll reduce this down. You know what? 40 sounds pretty good on our desktop. Let's check out what it looks like on tablet. And it usually inherits. So it's, let's see what we had. But we had 40 there. Let's go to tablet and 40 for mobile. Yeah, that all looks good to me. Now you might have a copyright area, so we can click on this edit for copyright. Let's see our copyright. Let's bring that up. There we go. So here's our copyright. We can say designaffair.com. Cool. And let's put this in the center, horizontal alignment in the center. And I like it. I think it looks pretty good to me. Now let's go back here and let's turn on our desktop. So we have our menu up here looking pretty good. We have our menu down here looking pretty good. Wait, why did this not go? Let's see here. Bottom row, copyright. Oh, see, on mobile, we're in center horizontal alignment, but on desktop, we're not. Let's go back and set it to horizontal center alignment on desktop, and then it should inherit everywhere. Perfect. Publish our settings. Go back to desktop view. Next thing we need to pick out, we've picked out our fonts. We've added some temporary menus in here. They look pretty good. We need to choose some colors. Colors are a very subjective determination, but a very important determination. I don't think that this blue hovering, I don't think this blue layout looks really good for kind of the design aesthetic that we're going for home decor. So we got to choose some colors. So to choose my colors, I usually go to the site called Coolors, COOLORS.com. And they have like a generator here where you can just press space bar and generate different things. And if you like something, you can lock that particular color and generate other colors that are complementary to it. You're gonna need a main color, an accent color, an off-white color, a pure white color, and then maybe a color for the footer. So let's think out loud, what would be good for a design site? Now, I personally don't know. I don't really know what would be good for a design site. So something we could do is go to Google and look at what other design sites look like. So we could say home decor, because if we think about other people like on Pinterest scrolling around and being all interested in home decor, they're going to be visiting a lot of home decor sites. So we don't want our site to look different from everybody else. So let's see what kind of home decor sites are out there. So Crate and Barrel, that's a really, my wife shops there a lot. So I know that's a big home decor site. Let's see, Inspire Me Home Decor. That's interesting. So we have, let's see, some blacks. I honestly, I really don't like this blue color, but again, it's not what I like. It's what people are used to. I see these images though, and I see like these browns, like wood, very, these neutrals. I don't really know the names of. They could tell you make it, right? I'm not sure I like this either. Let's see here. That's not helping me. Let's see, let's go to images. I believe at this site you can even upload an image. Create palette from a photo. You could do that. Home decor. This is cool. Open image in new tab. There we go. So we'll take this image. We'll go over here and paste the link to it right there. And see what we get. Do we like that? That's not bad. We got some greens in there, some browns. Open in the generator. I kind of like this for a button color, but then I kind of want like a darker color for our footer. This might be a good footer color. So let's press spacebar to generate some more colors around this. So there's our white. You know what? This could be our, let's drag this over here. This could be our, so let's make this a little bit darker. So we'll click on our hues and dial it down a little bit more. So we have black olive. Let's say that this could be our text. No, it's still too, let's duplicate it. Copy, paste. You just got to play with this a little bit. Let's have that be our footer color and our text color. So usually you can choose different hues in here. So that's what I'm doing. So we have a color here that I like, and then a different hue of that, a darker hue is this eerie black right here, which would work great as our footer color. And then this could be the text color in the footer color. I think this could also be like just the general text color on that white background right there. And this can be our button color. And let's see, let's unlock, that's unlocked. See if we can get another complementary color just to keep around in case we need something different. We'll just take that. Now what I typically do is I will export this as just like an image. And I'll give it designeraffair.com, and we'll export this. So we've saved this, and let's try it out. We always got to try this out first. So let's have this be our text color. Let's copy the hex code. And we'll go back to our customizer, and we'll go back to the main customization area, click on colors, and right now the headings are this color here. So let's change this color to our new text color. There we go. What color do we want our links to be? What color in this grouping? Let's have our links be, let's try this brown. Let's go to our typography page so we can see all this play out. Let's see, how do we find it? Typography. Let's go to our typography page. Perfect. See, our text, base text is, we want it to be this color for, that's our heading color. Watch, it's going to change. All right, we've changed that. So now we have the same color for our headings, the same color for our text. Now we got to change our links. Blue's not bad. Blue's not bad for links, but let's see how this looks before we change it up here. So let's go over here and change this to this brown that we found. That's not bad. An earth tone right there. And so that affected our block quote. It affected our button and the link. Now our hover needs to change. So our hover right now is, so this is the hover color. This is the initial color. So we got to change our hover. So what I typically do for a hover color is I'll see if I have a lighter version in our palette over here. And if we don't, I'll just go in here and change the hue to like maybe 2 or 3 up so that you can tell that there's a difference. But let's try this one over here and see if that works good for a hover color. Oops, we're not changing it there, we're changing it here. All right. Did I change it? I don't know, it doesn't look very different. Let's copy it again. I don't think I actually copied it. There we go. That's nice. Now the question is, do we want to flip-flop this? I don't know. We want it to be like this and then get darker. We could try that. Let's try that. All right, so we'll put this here and we'll go back and grab our darker version. We'll flip it. I like that. I like that better. Cool. So our text selection now is the same color as the button. I like that. Our colors are done. Man, it usually takes me a lot longer to get our colors taken care of. Our borders, so our borders are like this random color here. I don't really like that. We'll change it eventually, but I don't really have any borders we're dealing with. Anything else we need to copy over? Let's copy over this black olive. I don't think we've saved that so far. We'll just save it right there. Not really sure what we're using it for yet. Yeah, that's saved. And so we have some white and then an off-white. If we want to, we can change the off-white. We can go back to our palette, and we've already saved all this, so now it's going to modify. We can change our shades to like right down here. Very close to white, but it's a little bit off-white. And we'll go and we'll change this and kind of change this too. I'm happy with it. I hope you're happy too. This gave you some ideas on how to mess with the colors. So go to this Coolers site and just play around with it. I think there's probably a way to like search for existing palettes, explore trending palettes. So really cool site. Let's refresh this and we should see some changes. I like the way that kind of looks. So now we have our colors taken care of. We have our fonts taken care of. We have the menu layout stuff taken care of. Oh, we didn't modify down here. I always like to have a different color down here. So let's customize. And we'll scroll down and we'll click on this, let's see, this edit right here. Then click on design. So we're in middle row design right now. Click on design and row background. We're going to set it to this dark color and edit this, design row background right here. Now you can't see into the text right now, so let's fix that. Just find the text, hover over, you see this little thing, and we'll click design and I'm going to make it white. And also make it white. Find this stuff, design, set this to white, and The active we're also going to set to white, but then we want to hover color of, let's try color 1. Yeah, that works. This isn't highlighting because this is the one that's active right now. Cool, so we've changed our footer layout. So we need some kind of a logo for our site up here. We could just do all text, like we could come in here and just click this and call this Designer Affair. We could do that if we want to, but it doesn't look as professional. Like if we really wanted to be professional, we'd have an image up here and then also some like fancy script font or something. So that's kind of what I want to do, make it a little bit more professional looking. We're going to use a combination of Midjourney and also Canva to accomplish that. I was trying off camera some sample stuff. I wasn't having great results, but maybe we can try again and maybe get better results with it. The reason I like using Canva is there's lots of fonts in Canva. And so instead of having the AI try to come up with some script or some kind of fancy looking font, I can just choose the font in Canva and then combine it with my particular image that we're generating in here. So again, you don't have to use Midjourney. You don't have to use Canva. You can just come over here and just use plain old text if you want to. But if you want to dial it up a notch, then coming up with some kind of a logo and a nice font for this up here, even if it's different from this font, might spice your site up a little bit. So I was trying with this particular prompt. I didn't try too much. I was trying a couple times. Wasn't having great luck. The prompt was a logo for a website called Designer Affair that is about home decor. No text in the logo. So let's try this again. A logo for a company deals with home decor. White background. Professional looking logo, whatever that means. I don't know. That's a very amorphous term for the AI, but maybe that will help point it in the right direction based on its training. So we're just doing something simple right now. A logo for a company that deals with home decor, white background, professional looking logo. Just see what the AI comes up with based on that. This isn't bad. I like this. We could vary it a little bit. Oop, let's go back. You'll also have less chances of running into a trademark issue when you're using an AI image. You still got to be careful. I'm not acting as a lawyer right now for you, but it's better than trying to pull something just out of a stock icon set or something like that when you're trying to make this your actual logo. Let's see here. I don't know. I like it. It's very, what do they call it? Plain Jane. Very simple. That's not bad. Let's vary this a little bit. And I like this too. Let's vary that. This is neat, but it has that non-white background that I don't know if that's not what we want. Should have told it I don't want a non-white background. You know, out of everything, I think I like this. I don't know, which one do you guys like the most? I should probably ask my wife. Let's see. I like this. This is simple. Let's just go with that. And let's save this first of all. You just want to save it so we have this thing. Right. Call this Designer Affair logo. And then I'll go to Canva and we'll just drop. So we have our design now. We're going to use this in a design. First thing I want to do is, let's remove the background. And then we will make this bigger. We're going to make our fave icon right now. And we will save this, download as a PNG with a transparent background. And we'll download it as a, let's try 640 by 640. So that's a fairly large PNG file, but we can go to the site called Tiny PNG and reduce the file size of this. So we'll drag it right in here and it will reduce it down to 40 kilobytes, that's fine. So we just compress the image down to 40 kilobytes. Designer Affair. favicon, or I'll show you what that means in a second. So that needs to be resolution a little bit over 500 by 500. Because there's going to be retina displays like an iPad or an iPhone. Now we need to do our widescreen logo. So let's go over here and resize. I'm going to resize this to 2000 by 701. Let's just resize this design. Put this over here. And then what was the font we chose? You guys remember? The font we chose was Playfair Display. So let's see if, I'm sure they have it in here. So let's just add a heading. And this is going to be Playfair Display. Perfect. And we'll call this designeraffair.com. Let's just do Designer Affair. I think that's more professional sounding than having the domain extension at the end. Now we can see how this kind of looks. What do you think? Let's reduce the zoom a little bit. I don't know. Designer Affair. Let's change the font to, we'll try capital and non-capital variations. Designer Affair. Because we can always change the font even if we have a different font here than we have for the site itself. Designer Affair. Maybe this is too big. Let's reduce this a little bit. Designer Affair. I actually like that. Download. I'm going to save as a PNG with a transparent background. That's really important, by the way. And we'll download this. Let's go back to tiny PNG, and we're going to compress this also. So this goes from 110 down to 40. Perfect. And we'll overwrite this. Cool. Now we have our logos done and our favicon. So let's put this into WordPress now. Hover over here and hover over our logo, and then click on that little pop-up over here. And we'll select our logo. We're going to upload our files. Let's upload both of these things. And we'll choose that, and we'll click select. And now we're not going to display our site title, Designer Affair. Now we got to make this a little bit bigger. So we'll dial this up a little bit, Designer Affair. And what does it look like on tablet? That looks pretty good. What does it look like on mobile? So mobile, a little bit too big. Let's make this a little smaller. Go back here. I like it. What do you guys think? I like that a lot. Designer Affair. Now let's do our favicon. So we'll go back and site identity. So we're back at the home, the main menu thing of this customized thing. We'll click on site identity. We'll upload our site icon. We've already done that. So we'll select this and we'll select it. I guess we have to crop the image. I don't want to crop the image. Publish. And so you can see it up here. Now we have our favicon set. So that should appear on Google. That should appear if somebody bookmarks the site and stuff like that. Cool. So we have a lot of this site already set. We have our logo set, we have our top menu set, we have our footer set, we have the color set, we have our typography set. Now what we need to do is let's click on one of these posts and let's kind of configure how the post is going to look. So if you look, this post has something called a featured image in it, but when we actually view the post, we don't see the featured image anymore. So we're going to click on the post and click Customize up here. We'll scroll down to Post Types and Single Post. These are blog posts, Single Post, and we'll click it and it will bring us to this menu right here. Now, first of all, there's a couple different ways we can lay out this. We can do just a plain old post, or we can have a sidebar if we want. A sidebar might be very tempting, and you very well might want to do that. But again, most of your visitors are going to be on mobile. So today, there's really not a lot of reason to have a sidebar. You can feel free to disagree with me if you want. But again, if most of your visitors are going to be on mobile, then a sidebar and wasting your time messing around with it, in my opinion, isn't really worth it. So we'll choose the narrow width. And then you can also choose whether you want wide content or boxed content, right? And then you can choose your vertical spacing. We'll do that in a second. I first want to activate our featured image. So this post does have that featured image. We saw that on the category display screen, but it's not being displayed here. So we need to check this box to display our our featured image. Now, our featured image is a 1x1 image, and it's displaying at full size right now. If we don't want that, we can click on this. So we've already enabled, but now we can click on it. You see this little arrow over here? That means there's more stuff. So we click on this, and it takes us to more stuff over here. Let's see, we can do wide, we can do full from edge to edge if we want to. That's really big. Let's do a custom ratio. So let's not do the original, let's do a predefined 16:9 ratio, make it a little smaller. Let's just do default width. So now we've taken that 1x1 image, which is just way too tall, and set a predefined ratio of 16:9. We can also do 2.1 if we want to. And it looks pretty good right there. And we're using a default width, but you can go wide if you want to edge. And where do you want the image? You want it above the title or below? If we go below the title, right? It looks like that. Kind of cool. I don't know, which one do you guys like better? Now you could also, if you want to, you can click out of this. And if we click, let's see, where is it? Post title? There it is. If you click post title, you can change this design. So right now we're with this design. We can change it so that the stuff's overlaid on the image, right? So that you might like that. Now, if we do that, we'll have to go back to where we were and disable the layout here. Let's actually do that. This kind of looks a little bit more fancy. So let's do that. Let's have some fun. Let's go back to our single post, scroll down, disable the featured image, just have it like this. Now the problem is we can't see our text. So we'll click this edit button and click on design. And we want the title font color to be our white. And we want this stuff right here, this meta stuff, to also be white. And we actually don't want an excerpt. The excerpt can be something that's uploaded. We don't really want that. Let's see. Oh yeah, we don't want the excerpt. All right. That looks pretty good so far, although it's hard to read because you got this white over this light. So we'll click back on edit and yeah, image overlay. So we can overlay something on the image to make it easier. So we can say, what's the opacity? And then what do we want to overlay? So let's just overlay something like this brown if we want to, and dial it down. No, don't like that. Let's just do it dark. Cool. Let's check how this looks on tablet and also on mobile. I'm not liking this giant gap right here. So let's see if we can fix that gap a little bit. So to change this, now this is a little bit tricky to find. To change this padding right here, we have to go all the way out to the main menu and click on General and click on Layout and then the content area spacing. So if it's default 60, if we dial it down to 30, it changes a little bit. Now that might be too low, so let's go to 50. I think it was at 60. Maybe let's do 40. And then tablet's fine, mobile's fine. Let's leave it at 40 and see if that works. Let's go back to our front end, refresh everything, click on one of these. It's not bad. Obviously, it screws the image up a little bit, but again, the image adjusts depending on the size of the display. Cool. I think we've just about adjusted everything so far. What I'm going to do now is I'm going to leave this customization, go back to my dashboard, go over to the dummy content generator, and let's see, just click it and click on generate posts, and we're going to delete all of the dummy content, delete dummy posts, and then we'll delete the dummy categories. So in the next video, what we're going to do is create a very professional looking homepage for our site. That's very important because right now this is not screaming a professional homepage. This is not screaming a professional company, a professional site. We're going to fix that in the next video. We're going to create it from scratch. I'll show you exactly how to do it. We're going to use a block plugin. It should be a really good lesson. If you like this video, I know it was a long video, but if you got some value out of it, please drop a comment down below, like, subscribe, all that good stuff. There's links in the description down below. I will see you in the next video. Don't quit now. We're in the home stretch. We're almost to easy street. I know you can do it. Hey, I'll talk to you in just a few minutes.